know what time it is, nigga.
Don't sleep, go hard on my grind all motherfucking day.
You know it's the finest here, nigga.
Back chips, stack chips on none but my motherfucking pay.
You know what time it is, nigga.
Don't sleep, go hard on my grind all motherfucking day.
Got Javerick 100 trillion of BlakCrown Multimedia. This is the More Doper podcast. And yeah, by popular demand, I got a little story to tell. I entitled this The Darkside, and for a couple different reasons. First reason, well, I've been doing music for a long time. I started recording music since I was 14. When I was 14, I started recording rap music, and I've been writing well before that. Been in and out the music game. I met a lot of famous people. I met a lot of popular people. You know, met a lot of influential figures dealing with this music industry. And this particular fact, I want to say story, but people use the word story as in lie sometimes. But it's all fact, you know. Even I'm going to give y'all some stuff, some public record that y'all can look up if and you don't believe me. But this particular story, well, I was a part of a rap crew called the Darkside. And shout outs to everybody that was a part of the Darkside. D, Quasi, Twan, Marcus, Doughboy, rest in peace, Tay, Zach, man, the whole crew, man, 701, man, it was so many of us that was a part of the crew, the Darkside. It was actually 6 rappers in the Darkside, but the crew was like, shoot, man, the whole neighborhood, man, 701, Mar Industrial Boulevard, the whole Mar Industrial Boulevard on the south side in Clayco. Shout out to all of us, all them, you know, even the ones that's dead and gone. Well, the Darkside, we had an encounter with the dark side of the music industry. And I've been telling this story, you know, this fact, ever since 1995, and that's when it all unfolded. The Darkside, we were at a popular nightclub in Decatur, Georgia. It was called Studio 67, and we used to go to this club all the time. I'm talking, we go there, chill out, kick it, even perform, you know what I'm saying? We used to do all kinds of stuff, man. We was wild running around the city. We some Southsiders, but we used to hang everywhere. Well, this one particular night, an older guy is in the club, and he's looking for some young street rappers. Now, there is a moral to this story. I'm not trying to air anybody out. I'm not trying to expose anybody. So I'm going to be telling you straight truth, straight fact. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to tell you anything that I think. Now, there are some alleged things that happened in this story, and I'll be telling you alleged. Although I may know them to be fact, those things are not on paper, are not documented. So I'm going to say alleged. All right. So, you know, just bear with me, and we're going to let the story unfold. But I'm going to tell you how we met. Okay. How we met the guy. He was CEO of Slip and Slide Records. A lot of y'all know Slip and Slide from Trick Daddy, from Trina, from Rick Ross, you know, Slip and Slide out of Miami. Well, I'm not sure if this is the same Slip and Slide Records. All right. So in 1994, Slip and Slide was, and I'm not reading from, I'm looking so I can say this guy's name when I get to the point without fucking up nut. All right, in 1994, Slip and Slide Records was here in Atlanta. All right, based in the Decatur area in Scottsdale, and it was the CEO then was Langston Atkins, aka Diamond. Langston Diamond Atkins. And from what Diamond tells me and the Darkside crew, he's out of Miami, but he's here in Atlanta running Slip and Slide Records. This was before I heard of Trick Daddy, before I heard of Trina, before I heard of a Rick Ross. All right, so those people are excluded from this story. So, all right. But later on, of course, I would hear of these people, and they were assigned to a Slip and Slide Records out of Miami. Coincidence? Maybe. I don't know. Well, we were chilling in Decatur at this club. Now, at the time, I was about 16 years old. And so we was probably like 10 deep in the club, you know, and it wasn't all the rappers out of the Darkside, but it was the whole Province Place crew. Now, let me take that back. It wasn't the whole Province Place crew, but it was a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? And but we was 10 deep in the club, and most of the rappers was there, you know. So we get approached by, you know, one of the other people that were hanging in the club. You know, we was kind of familiar with him since we was at the club all the time. I guess he was an East Side dude. But we get approached by him like, hey, such and such want to holler at y'all because he heard y'all do street music. You know, now keep in mind, back in those days when I was 16, 15, a lot of people around Atlanta was doing dance music. So we were into talent shows and showcases where we were up against people that was doing dance music. But we, you know, being from Mall Industrial Boulevard, we from Province Place, man. We ain't doing no dance music. We did street music, man. We did trap music before it was called trap music. You know what I'm saying? We was just really telling our story, coming from where we come from. So, yeah, so we get approached by these people. This person says, hey, such and such wants to holler at y'all. So we like, we young, we wild, we don't really give a fuck about nothing. We like, man, fuck that nigga. They like, nah, for real, he got a record label and he got some music out already. And then so the dude approaches us, and we see this older dude, and he got gold rings on all his fingers, gold necklaces, mouth full of gold, you know what I'm saying? Dressed nice, like polo down, and you know, we thugged out. So we like, all right, let's see what he talking about, because he might be about his business. So he calls us outside of Studio 67. We didn't go out the front door. We always would use the side door. That was, you know, once you step outside of the side door, it's fenced in over there. This is like 94, 95. In the 94, maybe beginning of 95. I'm not sure about the dates, but I know it was before. It was early in 95, if it was 95. But anyway, so we step outside the door and we have this conversation. All right, so we step outside the door and we have this conversation with the guy who introduced himself as Diamond, you know, and I would later find out his real name, and it was Langston Atkins, CEO of Slip and Slide Records back then. Well, he approached us. Now, he tells us he's the CEO of Slip and Slide Records. I say that much. All right. Well, he, you know, is kind of demanding and stern. And he's like, he wanted to hear us rap. And, you know, he heard that we was some fire rappers, and he looking for a young street crew. He's looking for a young street crew. Keep that in mind. Well, we out the hood, man. We don't give a fuck, so we don't, take kindly to motherfuckers being so forceful in speaking. So we was real standoffish. But yet and still, we rap for them right out there. Right out, it's nighttime. It's about maybe midnight, and we outside the club, and we rapping. So he digging what he hearing. You know what I'm saying? So he tell us that he wants to sign us to Slip and Slide Records, but he wants to meet with us on a later date where we would, discuss things like where we trying to go with our music, what we trying to do, and then he wants to lay out his blueprint of what he wants from us. All right. So we go meet with him at a house in Scottsdale, and we will have several meetings with him after that date, and most of them were at that house in Scottsdale, and it would always be a bunch of us. We, when you got a young posse and you used to rolling with these cats every day, it ain't just the rappers that's gonna show up to different things. It's gonna be the rappers and the partners and the drivers and the shooters and whoever else is on the team. So we would always show up that deep. It'd be 2-3 cars full of young niggas, man, showing up to this man house, and he, as the meetings go on, he's letting us know he don't want nobody but the rappers. He don't want nobody but the rappers. All right, cool, no problem. So in some of the meetings, he would say stuff that kind of put up red flags. But I guess myself, I'm gonna speak for myself on this point. I might have been green to a lot of things. I'm 17, 16 years old. I'm thinking I know everything. At that age, you swear you grown. But apparently I was green to some things, because he told us one time in the story, he would, and I don't know what his point was. Like, he'll be calling himself fussing at us, or whatever you want to call it. And he says some stuff like, man, back in my day, back when I was living in Miami, I used to sell my body for cocaine. Going over my head. I ain't tripping. I'm thinking it to myself, honestly, at the moment when he told me that, I'm thinking to myself like, dang, bitches really buying dick in Miami? You know what I'm saying? Kind of made me, yeah. Anyway, so I'm green. I'm not even knowing. So I'm gonna tell y'all before we go any further. There is a moral to the story. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of dangers out there dealing with the music business, with the entertainment industry. There's a lot of dangers. So if you have young people in your family or close to you that want to pursue a life in the industry, you need to be with them every step of the way. Don't give them to these people. Anyway, back to my story. So we not really, I'm gonna say me, I'm not really tripping on that. It stuck in my mind, but I'm not thinking that he's saying he's selling his body to men for cocaine. I'm thinking about women. And in hindsight, all the time we would have these meetings up in Scottsdale, there was always another dude there who was mostly quiet, and it seems like the only time he would even comment or say anything is if when he needed to back Diamond up on a story Diamond was telling us about something that happened in his career. All right, and the dude, was kind of odd. He was, in hindsight, he was really kind of fruity. You know what I'm saying? And he would always say that this dude was his cousin. This is his cousin. This is his cousin. And the dude was older too. Yeah. The dude was older too. Older than us. Like, keep in mind, we was 14, 15, 16, 17. That was the age range of our clique back then. I really didn't mean to put that water bottle up there without taking the label off, because them folks don't pay me. All right. So we're having all these meetings with him, and he's telling us all these different things, and he would always show us the contract. One contract he would just show us. Now, keep in mind, our group is 6 people, but he would never let us sign the contracts. He would always tease us with the contracts and say things like, y'all got to work hard if y'all want to sign. And I can understand that. You want to see where people are before you sign them to your label, your company, whatever. Now, he would never take us to the studio. We were already in and out our own studios. We didn't have studios, but we went around the city and paid for studio time. Different producers and different engineers we were working with, you know what I'm saying, around Atlanta, different sides of Atlanta. So when we brought him music that we recorded, that was out of our pockets. That was out of our budget. So, if we had to sign the contracts, it ain't much he could have done but give us some promotions and distribution. Other than that, we doing everything, from the writing to the production. Well, anyway, so and another thing he told us at the meetings that we used to have, he wanted us to come out and diss other rappers. Now, 94, 95, Kilo out of Atlanta, Bankhead to be exact, and Bone Thugs out of Cleveland, Ohio, East 99 to be exact, they were real hot. They were hot. They was blazing. Like, in Atlanta, you was bumping one of them, if not both. Not that they made music together, but you was bumping. He wanted us to diss Kilo, and he wanted us to diss Bone Thugs. Now, I myself told him, I was the unofficial spokesman of the group. I don't know why, but it was never anything written. But me and D, Gangsta D, and this was before D got shot and became paralyzed. Me and D was like the leaders of the crew, because honestly, half of the crew was his folks and the other half was my folks. Me being from Morrow Industrial Boulevard, Province Place, and D growing up in Forest Park. And we met D through Twan, and we kind of joined forces and made the Darkside, because that we came up with that name together. But before that, I had been in previous rap groups, rap crews, different names, but we came up with Darkside together just so that we can join forces, the Province Place niggas with the Forest Park niggas. Now, the side of Forest Park they were on was like the Bab side. So for y'all on the south side, y'all know Bab is like the southern part of Forest Park. Forest Park is pretty big. Anyway, so he wanted us to diss Kilo, and he wanted us to diss Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I myself told him that I'm not about to diss Kilo, and I'm not about to diss Bone Thugs, because in my future, I wanted to do music with both acts. I want to do songs with Kilo, and I want to do songs with Bone Thugs. And plus, I didn't feel like I wanted to come out dissing nobody, because I was so sure of my skills, my rap abilities, my wordplay, that I ain't got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to come into the game with no enemies. I ain't want to come into the game like, oh, the only reason you got on because this. Nah. I want to come into this game on me standing as a man. Yeah, I wanted to come into the game 10 toes down, man. You know what I'm saying? Making money in every city I go to, not making enemies. Well, he didn't like that. He definitely didn't like that. He frowned upon that. Not because he just wanted someone to diss them, because he was the type that you cannot go against nothing he says. And we, like I told you, man, we were some real rebels, man. Come on, man. Half of us in the crew, man, the crew was deep. Half of us grew up with no fathers. I had a father. At this point in time, I was really out in the street on my own. But most of the crew, man, grew up with no father. So we ain't finna just take no strange dude out the street, just, you know what I'm saying, trying to be fatherly to us. You know, not in a loving, caring way, but in a stern, you do what I say, my way or the highway. Nah, nigga, highway, here we come. You know what I'm saying? That was the type of shit we was on. But, so nah, you know, the rest of the crew said, you know, themselves, they didn't want to, you know, diss nobody. But I'm just telling you, from my standpoint, and why I wasn't dissing. And I came clean out and told them the reason why I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? In a later meeting, my brother Slickster came with me to one of the meetings, and Slickster was always quiet, but he was just sitting there looking at him, just peeping this, you know, because if y'all know Diamond, you know that he spit a lot of slick shit, try to be a motherfucking I don't know. He thought he was pimping. So Slickster just peeping him out, and he gonna tell Slickster, he looking at him like, why you looking at me like that? And he said, man, you look evil. Yeah, cause man, you know, me myself, I'm gonna let you think that you pulling the wool over. I'm gonna smile, grin, give you all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? In the end, I'm gonna win. But yeah, man. So anyway. On topic. So there was a album release party that was about to go on. It was Luke Records. Most of y'all know Uncle Luke from 2 Live Crew. He was working on a solo album, and he was having an album release party on Old National Highway in College Park. It was College Park at the time. Right now, it's called the area. It's called South Fulton. So he was having his album release party at the 20 Grand. Now 20 Grand was down at the corner of Old National, Flat Shoals, where the new Walmart is. Well, it's not so new anymore. Well, 20 Grand was down there. And Luke was having an album release party at 20 Grand. Now, Luke, pioneer of the South, mastermind, man. Luke was the it in the South, you know what I'm saying? So, Luke having his album release party at 20 Grand. Of course, Slip and Slide had a buzz going on. Now, let me rewind back some. Slip and Slide had a major hit on the radio at the time. When we met them, they had this hit on the radio. And we didn't know, upon meeting him, we didn't find out until our first meeting with him. They had a hit on the radio, and it was Diamond, the CEO, what is his first name? Langston Atkins. Diamond Langston Atkins. It was him and D-Rock. Diamond and D-Rock, and their hit was called Bankhead Bounce. Now D-Rock is the same D-Rock from Yin Yang Twins. D-Rock, that's the tall skinny one from Yin Yang Twins. And I didn't find this out till later. Of course, Yin Yang Twins wasn't a group at that time. D-Rock was a solo artist out of Inglewood, Atlanta, which is on the east side. Inglewood, Atlanta. And Diamond, who was out of Miami, Florida, they had a hit together called Bankhead Bounce. Diamond and D-Rock, Bankhead Bounce. Look it up. So it was big on the radio. It was popping. And like I said, when we first met him, we didn't know that was him. We heard the song before. You know, we wasn't a dance crew, so it wasn't. It was just like another song to us. Well, we would come to find out later that the song was really a diss to Kilo. Because keep in mind, Inglewood, Atlanta is on the east side. Miami, Florida is in Miami, Florida. So they made the song Bankhead Bounce going at Kilo. They're not from Bankhead. They're not from the west side. They were going at Kilo, and Kilo's response from what I hear allegedly was, "This my pinky, this my thumb, Bankhead Bounce, Donkey Kong." All right, now, but Diamond and D-Rock's song was "What's up, what's up, what's up with the Bankhead Bounce?" Shouted. They got a video for it and everything, where Diamond is on there doing his greatest Luke impressions. If you ask me honestly, Diamond wanted to be Luke, man. I like all the meetings. He would always compare what he's doing to what Luke is doing. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted to be Luke. So it brings me back to 20 Grand, Luke album release party, Old National, College Park. This had to be late 94, early 95. Still, the dates losing me, man. I lose because that's been so long ago, man. I'm up in age now. I was somewhere between 16 and 17. So yeah. So we had the album release party. Now we show up late. Now, first of all, we almost had to jump through hoops to get there, because before the album release party, we had a meeting. He telling us about the album release party, and he's it's like he's trying to make a decision on if we should go or not, if he should have us at the album release party. We didn't beg, we didn't plead, we didn't, you know, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, we want to go. If you have us there, cool. If you don't, cool, because we got money to make on the south side, man. That's what we did, you know. So he ended up inviting the Darkside crew, the Mara Industrial crew, the Province Place crew to the album release party. And it was 3, maybe 4 cars deep. We came up in there deep, fresh off of Mara Industrial Boulevard, which, you know, was a trap back then. So we was fresh out the trap. We trapped out. Bunch of young little niggas trapped out going to an album release party at 20 grand, man. 20 grand was one of them places back in the day where you had to be a baller to get in. We wasn't balling, we was just trapping. You know what I'm saying? You know, we had ballers in the crew, but for the most part, we was young, ignorant little niggas out of Mara Industrial Boulevard. So we show up deep, and he's got his section. You know, he had a little pool. I ain't gonna take nothing from him. He had a little pool because he knew a lot of people in the industry. And I'm gonna say a lot of people that was there. Of course, Luke and Luke Records was there. So you had ballers in the building. So Def, I remember their crew was there. I'm thinking Camp was there. I think so. A couple people representing LaFace Records. I don't know if Organized Noise or the Dungeon Family was in the building, but there was a lot of people in the building. And we had a section, Slip and Slide had the section to themselves. So we was kicking it, and we young, but yet and still, we been in and out of clubs forever, man. All the clubs on the south side, east side, west side, we in and out of clubs. So we doing what we do when we in clubs. We everywhere, all around. But he called us over there, man. I want y'all to sit right here in this section. Don't move. He had 2 artists with him already. 2, and the artists that he had with him were younger than us. And he had them sitting in the section, chilling, like stiff. One of the dudes had on a Bill Cosby button-up type of sweater. You know, the sweater with the designs on it, and it was a button-up, and then he had a turtleneck on, and he sitting there like wouldn't move, didn't want to look at us. You know, we in there thugged out, t-shirts, jeans, shorts. You know what I'm talking about? We in there looking like what we do. So we in the club looking like what we do. You know what I'm saying? We ain't, you know, we ain't no Huxtables. So we was in them, you know, trapped comfortable. And the other dude, he had on the Bill Cosby sweater too. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I was like, he want us to be like these, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? He telling us, don't move, don't go nowhere. Y'all stay over here. Y'all, I don't know whether we embarrassing him or not. I don't know. But as the night progresses at the album release party, he calls one of the members of the crew, of the Darkside crew. He calls one of our members out to the car. He said, come here, let me talk to you for a minute. You know what I'm saying? We ain't pay no mind, because he would often do that. You know what I'm saying? And in hindsight, he was trying some divide and conquer type things. So, you know, I know my crew. We if whatever you go pull us to the side to have a meeting with, when we get finished with you, we finna say everything that happened in the meeting. And I know this day and time we would have recorded that shit, but we ain't have cell phones and stuff back then. We had beepers. Yep, we was beeping and beeping. But anyway, so we had he called one of our younger members out to the car, you know, and say he wanted to holler at him. We ain't paid no mind. We still in the club doing what we do. You know, we sitting in this section, but we in there cracking jokes. We in there looking at the chicks, man, because keep in mind, Luke Records was having this show. So it was, hey man, it was a Luke party. So, and the only reason we got in is because we were there with a record label that was invited by Luke Records. All right, so some little few minutes go by, you know, 10 or maybe a little bit less minutes go by, and this member of our group come back in like real fast and breathing hard, like, man, we gonna have to fuck this nigga up. I don't know if it's exactly what he's saying, but you know, in along the lines of, we gonna have to fuck this nigga up, and we all jumped up like, what? That's what we used to. We jumped up like, what? Who is it? Where he at? Where he? You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is point him out. And that nigga said, that nigga Diamond just tried me. We like, what? He said, yeah, man. Did we get in the car and we talking, and this nigga started rubbing on my leg, talking about, if y'all want these contracts, you know what you need to do. Bullshit you not. And I know my homeboy ain't finna lie on nobody. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he told him, he started rubbing on my partner leg and talking about, if y'all want these contracts, you know what you gotta do. So my homeboy hit him, you know, punched him, and jumped up out the car real quick. And came back in the club and told us. So in the midst of him coming in the club and telling us what just happened, and we got riled up, we on attack mode now. You know what I'm saying? Diamond is coming back in the club, but he done talked to security and a couple bouncers. He got his own security, then plus the bouncers that was outside the door. So while we going outside to find this nigga, because we already know where he parked at, him and about 2 bouncers and his security is coming towards us, coming in the club. They rush us. They keep us separate from him. Then some more security come from the back, inside the club. So they got us out the club, you know. And that was our last encounter as the Darkside with Diamond. Now, skip a little bit up to maybe late 1995. I don't know where the rest of the crew was, but I was watching news and I see Diamond on the news. being indicted. So this shows you how we knew for sure that this was his personality. He was being indicted, all on the news, public record. You can look it up. Like I said, his name is Langston Leonard Atkins, aka Diamond. He was indicted on 2 counts of aggravated child molestation, 1 count of child molestation, and 2 counts of enticing a child for indecent purposes. Yeah, I'm gonna pin this to the description so y'all can read everything. It's a long, man. It tells you about it tells you about the charges. These children, these 2 victims. Now, keep in mind, I'm not gonna say the victims' names because they were minors at the time. They didn't have nothing to do with this. They reported it to their parents and their guardians and their grandparents, and which end up taking them to doctors to get medically examined. And the doctors say, yeah, these kids have been tampered with because he was really raping these kids. Yeah, they had some issues going on. One of the kids, as far as I know, it might have been both of them. Well, had to go to a psychiatrist after this happened. So yeah, that was our encounter with Slip and Slide Records back then. I don't know about nothing about the Slip and Slide, the Trick Daddy, Trina, and Rick Ross era. I don't know nothing about them Slip and Slide folks. The only Slip and Slide CEO I ever met was Diamond, aka Langston Atkins. And no, he never touched any of us in our crew. Not that I know of. Didn't touch me. Because we was built kind of different. We was ready from the jump, from our first meeting. We was ready to, knock his ass out. That was, because he just had it seemed like he was trying to run game. You know what I mean? And now I see what his game was. His game was trying to get some ass. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy was trying. He wanted little boys. He has girls around him a lot. He had a popular record out, a dance record. He had women of age. I've seen myself women of age that wanted him, but he wanted young boys. So yeah, the moral of this story, and I'm telling my story. This is my story. A lot of my people said that I should tell the story. This has been years. People have been telling me, yeah, you need to tell the story. You need to. And I've been like, yeah, I'm going to tell him one day. Since I've been doing the podcast, I'm going to tell him one day. Well, today is the day that I'm telling it. Because, I mean, for one, the industry has a lot of dark sides, man. The industry is built on dark sides, man. And you have pedophiles and predators out there all the time searching for young people to take advantage of, boys and girls, and they want it. They want it bad, and it's a lot of naive boys and girls out there that all they see is the limelight. They see the stardom, they see the money, they see what they could potentially have. And they thinking that this is the way to go, and some of them just get talked out of their draws. It ain't cool. Sound funny, but it ain't cool. So if you have a family member or a loved one or somebody that you care about that wants to get into the industry, go with them everywhere they go. Meet the people they meet. Talk to, ask questions, find out some background on these producers and CEOs and whoever they have dealings with, and don't just sign them off and let this person be their guardian. Don't do that. That's not the way to go. Luckily for us, we had each other. And we played a lot of hood games, man, and all that broke wrist shit we wasn't with. So we gon' we gonna test each other. You know what I'm saying? We test each other manhood, not like that, but we made sure that you was built to last. You know what I'm saying? So man, that was my run in, one of my run ins in the industry, and this one just happened to be something that went bad. And luckily we escaped from it without any of us being hurt or harmed. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, it's been real. I appreciate y'all listening. And like I said, I ain't trying to expose anybody or put nobody out there. And I did mention that D-Rock was working with Diamond. Now, I don't know if he was one of the people. No, let me take that back. I know he wasn't one of the victims on his case. And I'm not saying that he was touched or fondled with by this man. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what. Diamond wasn't right. All right? So, look out for your people, man. It's been real, man. More Doper podcast. Javerick 100 trillion. Peace and prosperity.
You know what time it is, nigga.
Won't sleep, go hard, I'ma grind all motherfucking day.
You know the divine is
Front
here,
flip,
nigga.
back flip, stack chips, I'm on nothing but my motherfucking pay.
You know what time it is, nigga.
Won't sleep, go hard, I'ma grind all motherfucking day.
You know the divine is
Front
here,
flip,
nigga.
back flip, stack chips, I'm on nothing but my motherfucking pay.
You know what time it is, nigga.